Hello, friends. Welcome to another episode of Insightful Conversations with your host, Krishna Radha. Today, the guest on my show is Manish Vyas. He's a musician. He is deeply rooted in the Indian tradition of music with his mantra journey, bhajans, and the fusion music that he does. When he was really young, his grandfather was a sannyasin. He's lived his childhood life, some parts in Gujarat, and then he moved to Pune to study, where he worked in the ashram. He was also part of the band which had Milarepa and others. So, without much further ado, let's welcome Manish.
Namaste.
Welcome, Manish.
Namaste. Hi.
Namaste. So, Manish, my first question to you is: tell us how was your early life and what introduced Osho in your childhood?
I grew up in a big house, big family, 16 people, and we were actually four generations living together, from my youngest cousin to my great grandmother. And even before I was born, Osho was already traveling in India. That time he hadn't even settled in Mumbai. Forget about Pune. He was traveling a lot, and sometimes he used to come to my hometown, which is Rajkot in Gujarat. And my grandfather, along with some other family members, they used to go and listen to him. So he was already attracted to his teachings. And then in 1973, my grandparents took sannyas, and slowly, everybody else voluntarily, by their wish and their connection with Osho, they took sannyas.
You
And
had said in an interview that you were almost 9 years old when you took sannyas, or
seven,
around
actually.
7. So,
Yeah,
how does a
because
7-year-old decide? And
yeah, of course, at that age, you're not clear that, not even aware that you are a seeker or you are a meditator or this is about spiritual growth. No, I mean, we had actually dedicated meditation room, and the family members, as well as sometimes some people from outside, used to come to the house. In summer, we had an open terrace, so 6 o'clock there used to be dynamic meditation in the terrace, and 30, 40 people will be doing dynamic meditation.
Mhm.
So at age of 6, 7, and so we were a little familiar with what is going on, and we loved that atmosphere.
So
So
we could say that it was a gift, but do you remember an exact moment where you actively thought that Osho was the guru and you are dedicating?
yeah, meaning the age of 16, I moved to Pune for the higher studies, and almost at the same time Osho moved from Mumbai to Pune, his last phase of life and work. And that was actually the time when some realization started happening, that what is a master, what is spiritual journey. But just being there, attending his discourses, I was attending the morning discourses happening in Chaungsu, and sometimes in the Buddha hall. So that time it started finally kind of dawning upon that, okay, what is the work of a spiritual master, and what is it to be on this path? It grew very, very slowly. And by the time, he left the body, it was kind of a little shock. Just when something started becoming a little more clear, the master has left. So that's how it happened.
Your connection with music, was that also from your childhood, and how did that happen for you? Was there someone in your family who was connected to music?
My grandfather was running a meditation center in our house. So every month there used to be a kirtan.
Mm.
And maybe I had some natural tendency of playing dholak rhythm. So I used to play dholak in the kirtans every month. My mother must have realized that there is a sense of music in this kid. And then I started taking music lessons at the age of 9. And that continued until 15. But the real growth started happening when I moved to Pune. And on one side, I got involved in the music department of Osho Commune while Osho was still there in the body. And simultaneously, like sincerely learning, like, properly the music. And at that time, I was learning tabla. So I started learning tabla with Ustad Alarakha, the father of Ustad Zakir Hussain in Mumbai. So here there was training happening, but at the same time, what was really lucky for me is to apply all that learning in whatever way that I understood into experimental music, which was happening in the commune.
Mm.
So, in the commune, there were musicians from all around the world, not
Mm.
only from India, but from Brazil and from US and from Europe and from Africa. And there were different meditations happening, different celebrations happening, and everywhere there was a different requirement.
Yeah.
So, how do you apply all that learning into this totally new format? So, it was a very good training for me.
Osho and music, he joined it into meditations very beautifully, and it is kind of the intrinsic part of most of his meditations, I would say. How do you see this journey?
Well, in general, music plays a very significant role in the journey of meditation.
Hmm.
Yeah, at least initially. I'm not saying until the end it is necessary. It can be, but it's not a requirement till the end. So, music really, and the right music, okay, not any music, the properly envisioned music, which can help the meditator, seeker to go deeper, to understand a few things also, and to dive into that space of pure beingness. The right kind of music can play a very significant role. In a way, it works like kind of a smoothening lubrication force.
Hmm.
You, like, for example, let's say if you are doing pranayam and you do pranayam without the music, but then with the music, it creates a certain, catalyst. So, and Osho must have understood this really well.
Hmm.
Now, if you recognize this, that now in the current age of spiritual masters or the gurus, all these guys know the significance of music. So none of these people will discard the musical element in their organization. But Osho was the first one to
Yeah.
recognize this potential. So as we know, you not only that he created specific music for all the meditations that he has introduced, but also around his work, music was a very, you know, profound place it had in his work. And so for people like us, it was a great blessing because we could directly get involved with all that. And to be honest, in whatever creation which has happened until this lifetime for me, about 30 albums and a few singles, majority of that has been inspired by that background.
So I attended one of your retreats in San Diego. You sang so beautifully, you spoke so beautifully. There was a meditation you introduced there, which I'm doing even now. It's a prana meditation, and you have your music, the
Yeah.
prana music. So I have felt that difference in my meditation practice. It's, as you said, definitely it makes it just smoother and easier for you to get into it. I found it very endearing when you said that. I'll say this in Hindi because there's no better way to say it in
Yeah.
English. Ki uska mal, uska kamal,
Yeah.
which means it is his grace. So,
Yeah, the exact statement is maal bhi uska, kamal bhi uska. And it's how it is really.
yeah. And I heard this being said by many musicians, stand up comedians, artists all over the world, that when they stand up on the stage, they don't feel like it's coming from them. It's flowing through them, and they don't know from where and how.
Especially in creativity, I think any intelligent artist or a person would not claim that this is mine or I did this or I created this, especially in the art field. Now, if we look at it in general, also in life, forget about art or music, anything, people claim, "Oh, I did this, I did that." So, in that doing, either there is a pride or a guilt,
Hmm.
right? It's either of the two.
Yeah.
But if we listen to the teachings of Bhagavad Gita from Lord Krishna, he says, "You are not the doer."
Yeah. True.
So, where is the doer? Everything is just happening. So, in our case, the music, or in the art case, a painting, or whatever you call it. But maybe that our instruments are tuned to receive something in
Mm.
the right time, in the right moment, in the right space. Maybe if I'm sitting with And then something comes, and if our instrument is tuned to that, it is received.
Mm.
So it's the same case in mantras.
Mm.
For the record, there is nobody who claims that I discovered that mantra or I created that mantra. Yeah, all the mantras are, a lot of mantras are attributed to different rishis.
Yeah.
But rishis say that we saw the mantra. So they are the seers,
Yeah.
the drashta. We have a beautiful word in Hindi or Sanskrit, drashta, the one who saw the mantra. They never claim I created that mantra. You see, so that reality has been understood since then, and I think in current times also we all should remember that we are not doer, we are not creators, we are just like a ordinary medium. Things come, things go. Okay, for the copyright sake, and for all that, we have to put a name so that nobody misuses it. But apart from that, why to claim? That's why I say mal bhi uska, kamal bhi uska.
I have a question in this that the seekers, anyways, it's a small number. And then the music that you talk about, a little bit which gets you deeper into yourself. How do you package it for the masses?
That's exactly what I don't do. That I don't do it for the masses or with the idea that I want to sell it. I do it because I love it, or something which appeals me, that yes, this sounds good, this is what makes me feel good about it. I can connect with the energy of that text, whether it is a mantra or a bhajan or a kirtan or Sufi song or Shabad or Buddhist mantra or anything.
Mm.
But the moment when I'm sitting with my harmonium or keyboard and I'm engaging with the text, so once that point is hit, that yes, here is where I completely feel that the text has become alive. The text in itself is enough in itself, complete. Like I always say, mantras don't need music. So even if you hear that, let's say, beautiful Sufi poetry or anything, it can touch a sensitive heart. It can reveal its mystery. But you see, when you add little music, it becomes a little more
Yeah.
like, easier to touch your heart, to reach your
Yeah.
psyche and anything like that. So when that point is felt, that yes, I think in my best capacity, I have done the justice to that text. And then, we record it, we get other musicians involved. But never the idea, never the idea that, oh, let me do this so that this will be sellable or this will appeal the masses. Never.
So I see
If
two
it
qualities.
appeals, well and good. If it doesn't, I enjoyed creating it, and you know,
Yeah.
our joy is, of course, when we create, engaging other musicians, and also sometimes when we perform, share it with people. So that is already a gift. Everything else is a bonus.
Hmm. So I see it, I used to think receptivity is kind of the most important in an artist, but I can see that being a little aloof from the other aspects of the world, like materialistic, not that you don't want it, but you're not aspiring for them, is also it's also an important factor when you
And
create
it
something.
has it has it has been proved in my whole journey. Like, especially one of the first album when I did Sattva. So I just did because I really wanted to have my first album. Okay, that was a wish, that okay, because I was always playing with other musicians, though I was accompanying many other musicians, but inside me was a this creative soul which was jumping, like, to bring out your own vision. Like when you're accompanying, you don't have that much freedom.
Hmm.
You are like, you are simply supporting what is there, but you are not allowed to share your vision, if not fully, even partially sometimes. So then finally, when I had that chance, I put all my best compositions into this CD and never thought that this will sell or not. I even, took a big loan from my uncle and put a lot of money in it and just put it out. And a year and 1.5 year later, slowly it started growing. And to be honest, now it's 22 years that that album came. It's still growing. Some of those songs are still heard around the world, and even when I go to do a concert, some of those songs are requested.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I saw that when that happened, there was never this idea that, oh, I want to sell it or I want to. And sometimes, even recently, in that, since then, some of the songs which I never thought would become popular or viral or these or that have become out of, you know, no expectations from my side. There is one track which we made a few years ago, and it was actually a suggestion and a beautiful idea from my wife. That Manish, why don't you record this style of chanting, which you hear in the temples? And I said, are you sure? Because she said, no, we have to have this character. So we did it. We called it Vedic chanting because it had that feel. And now the fact is that on YouTube, that track has crossed more than 10 million views. And we did it as an additional track to the whole album.
Mm.
It was not even like it was the main track or the feature track. It was
Yeah.
just like, but you see, so, and that's the beauty of it. As Osho would say, that the beauty is like, he says, no, that uh, life is not a puzzle to be
To be
solved,
solved. It's a
but a
mystery.
mystery to be lived. So this is a mystery how some things
Yeah.
happen. So,
This is exactly what was going in my head when you were saying it. So I'm going to put up a picture. This is your wife and you, and she's been helping you in this beautiful journey that you both are on. Would you like to share how did you guys meet? What was so
yeah.
attracting about each other?
Well, we met actually in a 40-day meditation retreat.
Okay.
And she was living in Argentina that time. I was in India with my second master, Gurudev. I was the coordinator of that retreat. So she had come to attend that 40-day meditation retreat. So that's where we met first time. And from there, the story developed. I mean, just to give you a little idea, is that it was a 40-day retreat divided in 3 stages. So there was first 10 days active meditations, and then 21 days of silence, and then last 9 days. So especially in that period of silence, we could not talk, but the whole feeling went much deeper. So it was in a way perfect to connect from that space of meditation.
So, since you're talking about Gurudev, I wanted to introduce this.
Yeah,
He is a disciple of Osho, the earliest one, Swami Chaitanya Bharati.
Bharati. Yeah,
You met him after Osho left his body because you had this real urge to find someone who was alive and he could work on you.
yeah,
I'm going to put his picture out.
mm,
This is you
yeah.
and him. And he used to do these 40-day retreats. You want to tell us more about how your relationship with Gurudev developed and what you received from him? And
Yeah. The best part of meeting my second master, Gurudev, after Osho, and if I have to put it very honestly and bluntly and maybe shockingly to some people, is that he protected me from a lot of nonsense which was going around in the Osho scene.
yeah.
Because especially when Osho left, many things started turning into a lifestyle,
Mm,
what they called it Osho lifestyle.
mm,
Okay, now Osho introduced Sorba, the Buddha. But see, one thing is to agree with Osho, one thing is to understand Osho.
yeah.
And then whatever you understand, you live it.
Mm,
So the beauty about being with a living master is that he's continuously correcting you whenever
mm,
needed.
mm,
Okay. When the master is gone, and if still that ripening has not happened, then there are a lot of chances for the disciple to get distracted or misunderstand and go astray. still thinking that, oh, I'm on the right track because this is what Osho said or this is what the master said. So in that way, right, only 2 years after Osho left the body, when I met Gurudev and I went to his first 10-day meditation retreat, and since then until now, that connection has sustained. Personally, I feel that he somehow really put me on the track. Like you can say, Osho started the journey,
Mm-hmm.
but then there was full chance of me losing the track of it, or misunderstand, or really it being hard to stay on the
Yeah.
path. But when there is a living guide, then he makes sure that you are not, you know, going in a wrong direction.
Yeah.
So in that way, I felt that I was really protected from a lot of, useless things which were
Yeah.
happening
Nice.
in the spiritual scene, in the Osho scene. And he kept me grounded, and he kept me continuously connected with the true wisdom. And what was beautiful and is beautiful with him is that, in a way, what I, and along with me some other ones, what we were receiving is kind of the extract of Osho's teachings. Yeah,
Mm.
now Osho, as you know, and a lot of people know, he is such a vast ocean.
Yeah.
So sometimes he's saying this, sometimes he's saying that, and many times we don't know what. So in this case, what should I do?
Mm-hmm.
Or so in that way, when somebody has walked on that path,
Yeah.
then he can exactly tell you that, look, this is the path, and here it may appear like a long cut because there is no shortcut, but this is the right way to reach there, and maybe this kind of hindrances may appear here and there. This is
Mm-hmm.
the role of a master, a living master, you see.
Mm-hmm.
So in that way, that kind of guidance kept on happening. I'm not saying that I never made mistakes, or I never kind of misunderstood, but still, on and off, there was continuous, like somebody, I knew that somebody is watching me. And if I, whenever I needed, I I took that direction. And we were living in Pune, in the same city, almost few blocks away from each other. And almost every year there were 2 3 retreats happening which I was attending. So our training was going 24/7 in a way. And what was beautiful was that it was also like a very practical training. Like one thing is to close your eyes and meditate or go to a retreat, but then when you're back in life, you're the same unconscious guy. No, his training with us was that, what he loved to call it, practical spirituality. So it is a very unique word. Spirituality can be mental also,
Mm-hmm.
or just like, philosophical. No, practical spirituality. That when we talk about awareness or consciousness, how do you apply it in day-to-day life? I'll give you an example that a few years ago, me and my wife, we were invited by somebody in the Scandinavian countries, and our host came to pick us up at the airport. So we were driving. Our drive was long, 2 3 hours. So we were in this car, and the guy was telling us that sometimes he attends this 3 month silent Zen retreats. I don't know, in Japan or Korea or somewhere. So wow, that's something to be in silence for 3 months. And then while he was talking about this experience and journey, I was looking at his car. And in the car there are these places where you put things.
Yeah.
Every possible hole was filled with papers, like bills and some trash or some cigarettes. Like it was, I realized I'm sitting in a junkyard. So then later, me and my wife, we were talking like, how can somebody be so oblivious of his atmosphere after having done such retreats of 3 months? So you see, the application of meditation is not happening.
Mm.
And this is what I think we were learning, is that how do you apply those things practically in day-to-day life? So that blessing has been immense. And I would encourage everyone who is on the path that at least up to some point one should have a living guide.
Yeah, I can hear what you're saying because, as you said, he's such a vast ocean. And also, when he talks from these peaks that it's very hard by the time it reaches to you.
And to add to that, I can share an authentic experience is that, there was, as I said, I grew up around that atmosphere. So there were books of Osho, there were discourses playing continuously in the house. Even in Pune, I heard him live. And then I met Gurudev. Then what was the advantage with him was that there was one-to-one connection, personal connection. So, when we were living in Pune, sometimes we go for walks, long walks, in the middle of busy streets and traffic is there, but we are talking something related to our journeys or our questions, and sometimes those questions can be related to practical situations in life also, whether it is work or relationship or this or that. But there is the response what would come would be always having that higher aspect of wisdom. It will never
Mm,
come from that lower level of mind.
mm,
So in that way, then when I would listen to Osho or read Osho, suddenly something else would
yeah,
be understood that aha, maybe Osho is trying to say this.
yeah,
So there was a difference after that presence of a living master, that how the same words reveal the deeper
yeah,
understanding. And not only Osho's, I would say that because of him, I came in contact with teachings of Ramana Maharshi, a little bit of J. Krishnamurti, then one of the most profound being called Nisargadatta Maharaj, okay, which even Osho loved his books and teachings, though he never publicly acknowledged it. But and G. Krishnamurti, so like that, So again, thanks to Osho and Gurudev, these other dimensions of spiritual teachings also show you a different aspect. So
yeah, absolutely. I think all of us are so different, and the guru usually knows what is the need in your psyche, and they work through these mysterious ways. Even Gurudev coming in your life, Swami Chaitanya Bharati, as he was known.
mm,
I think like the guru felt he knew what you would need at that point. And as you said, the Osho world is very charismatic, right? In a certain way. And you can
yeah.
easily, sometimes there's glamour, there's scandals, politics, and you could just get lost in that noise. And
In that way, I would also say, because maybe this podcast is heard by some old and some new sannyasins, and
yeah,
because there was such a large group of people around Osho. But what I understood knowing Gurudev for such a long time is that although he was one of the first ones to be near Osho, but somewhere I think Osho knew his potential. And knowing his potential, he kept him far from him. Never gave him a power position anywhere.
mm,
Like he had to work like 7 hours a day, and he was not even given a place to stay. He had to figure out on his own. He had to create his own money and all that. But somewhere Osho knew that this man cannot be corrupted for the politics of the
yeah,
organization. He only left the guidance that he should continue leading retreats and help people in deepening their journeys.
yeah,
So just like as I said, I was protected, maybe Osho protected him
yes,
also
yes,
from that political things which were probably manageable by some others. It may
yeah,
not be possible by somebody like Gurudev, because Gurudev was very focused on his journey. So even when he was there, his focus was okay, go listen to Osho, and if the work was given, do the work. If he was sent to do the retreats, go and do the retreat, come back. And
yeah,
then whenever there is time, meditate. Whenever there is a chance, go and do 21 days of silence. Can you imagine? He did like 10, 20 times 21 days of silence in his whole life.
yeah,
So he was very focused. And I think that focus helped him to arrive,
yeah,
because his energy was not engaged in all this politics and okay, how I'm going to make money, or where is my next girlfriend coming from, or
yeah, I
Nothing
think
like that.
that's the beauty of I don't know about other gurus, and but since I have been closely listening to people who were connected to Osho and his books, I feel like we are all on this. Imagine this huge railway station, and our trains are coming at different times. Someone's train is coming earlier, someone's is going to come late, and the guru knows who's train and who's ready and who's ready to, and he works in that those
Yeah, yeah,
mysterious ways. So it's all in your inner climate and how you are
yeah.
at that
And I
point.
think, in my understanding, whatever I've seen in the world of Osho, that possibly Osho kept these potential gems far away
Yeah,
from the organization, from the whole thing, so that they will be nurtured, and so that they continue to help the
yeah.
genuine people.
Oh,
So all the people who are probably very close to him physically and organ in power positions missed the point. Like, I'll give you example of my wife, that she has never met Osho. She is not even sannyasin. She just came across one book of Osho, which is also on children, Osho on child or something like that. And that book hit her like anything.
yeah,
And she had a kind of a complete transformation. And then, of course, many years later when we met, and when she attended the retreat, and but I still feel that I'm not saying this because of my wife, but genuinely, in all the people that I've come across in my life, that there are very few people that I've come across who understand, the point by only reading once or listening once. Have never met Osho or any master as such. Like, even forget about that spiritual world and all that. No, no. So then there are people like that also, who can
yeah,
just absorb like a sponge and immediately put application into life. So, especially in your case, or anybody like you, please understand that having met Osho is okay. It's a blessing in itself. But
yeah,
if that didn't happen, it doesn't stop you to understand what his teaching, or what is the real teaching from coming from any master.
yeah,
If you absorb it, and without any prejudices or any kind of likes, dislikes, or opinions, if you absorb it as it is, boom, it is going to work. Probably it is going to work more powerfully than even Osho's personal secretary, or somebody who have been sannyasin since 67 or 71. All this is history, all this is, like, good for biography.
yeah, yeah.
So,
I hear you
you know what
absolutely.
I'm saying, that
Yes, yes.
sometimes a lot of people get respect just because they are old sannyasis, and I see that all the time.
And yeah, I keep myself away from all this. I just enjoy like meeting people who are on this path, because frankly speaking, there are so few people who go into this path of seeking and understanding what life is. Most of us just it's normal, like you just eat, drink, sleep, and then
Yeah.
go work or do something. So I genuinely enjoy this interaction with people who, whatever it is, however much people have understood, not understood, but they've given 40, 50 years of their life, and I'm like happy just knowing them. So I leave it at that. Coming to the next one, now you live in Switzerland, is it, like, is that your base?
I'm kind of between India, and so,
Okay,
yeah.
but how did you end up in Switzerland? Like, what was it that?
Well, my wife was living in Argentina, and then at some point she decided to move to Switzerland.
Okay.
At that time we were not married, so after her move we got married. So I moved to Switzerland.
How would you describe yourself, Manish, as a person?
It's not important. Look, as a if I call myself, since we are talking about Osho, so if I recognize this person as a sannyasi, actually the only purpose to be on this path is to eventually come to know that there is no person.
Hmm.
So, if that is the reality, then why to even think what kind of person I am?
Because that kind of makes you understand how you work and helps you become that no person, right? Like,
Look, if we listen to Osho carefully, he is saying again and again, there is no person as such.
okay.
There is functioning happening through
Yeah.
the mind body.
Yeah.
The very idea of person is a Maya. So what I was saying is that if you want to give any credit, I will pass it on. Whom?
Okay.
To the masters. If you want to blame, I will also pass it on.
That's a good
I'm not
way.
going to take a delivery.
That's a good way, you know.
That's why
Lot
we
of
say no, माल भी उसका कमाल भी उसका.
mm.
बीच में अपन कहाँ है, बीच में कुछ है ही नहीं.
Okay, I'll ask you one more thing, which I know you will find a way to go around this question. But please tell me,
Yeah.
is there any paranormal act you have ever felt in this whole spiritual journey that you have undertaken since you were a young kid?
Yeah, there have been few events, few incidents, but Gurudev, my second master, always suggested that don't hold on to these experiences. Experiences come and go. One who is experiencing is always there. Who? The witness. Yeah, that witness has been always there before the experience. That witness will be there even after the experience. Now, if the experience brings an understanding, well and good. Focus on that understanding, but not on the experience.
Hmm.
So, as though few things have happened, but I prefer not to talk about it
Okay,
because then the ego gets boosted.
true.
These are the things which see now this I did not understand from Osho. This I understood from Gurudev. This is what I mean. How I was protected.
Hmm.
Yeah. So in many times you will see in the spiritual world that anybody or many people have some kind of extraordinary experience, which is going to happen when you step on this path. But then the right attitude should be that mum the word. Don't talk about it.
Okay, that's a good advice.
Yes, because otherwise the ego gets involved, and then it's like, okay, people write books about it, and then you're like, wow, this guy he went out of the body, and this and that. What the big deal?
Um, any favorite mantra you have for yourself?
Uh, no, there is no meaning right now. There is nothing like that.
Is there anything you would love to sing for us today?
This is also it carries this profound teaching. मेरा आपकी कृपा से सब काम हो रहा है मेरा आपकी कृपा से सब काम हो रहा है करते हो तुम कन्हैया मेरा नाम हो रहा है करते हो तुम कन्हैया मेरा नाम हो रहा है मेरा आपकी कृपा से सब काम हो रहा है पतवार के बिना ही मेरी नाव चल रही है पतवार के बिना ही मेरी नाव चल रही है हैरान है जमाना मंजिल भी मिल रही है हैरान है जमाना मंजिल भी मिल रही है करता नहीं मैं कुछ भी सब काम हो रहा है करता नहीं मैं कुछ कुछ भी सब काम हो रहा है मेरा आपकी कृपा से सब काम हो रहा है
What a beautiful song.
See, this is what we have been actually talking, that all my tasks are being taken care of by you. You who, the master, the existence, whatever you call it. Karte ho tum kanaiya. When Krishna, you are doing everything, but all my work is happening. So, see, now when you listen to such text through the music, it pierces deeply.
Mm.
That is the role of music. Coming back to that.
It's beautiful, beautiful. Your voice is divine. The choice of music that you play is divine. Thank you so much for.
No, thank
Last
you.
question while we leave.
Yeah.
What do you see your future as? Do you think about
Arey,
it?
yeah.
I know all that, but still, we are human beings. What to do?
Yeah. No, really, I actually don't see it like that. The only prayer is that whatever life brings, there is, let there be total acceptance to whatever life brings. So in Hindi, we say, Teri Raza Puri ho. Not Meri Raza, Teri Raza Puri.
Such a beautiful note to end this. And thank you so much, Manish, for coming and giving us this very rare interview where I get to see the mind of a musician and a seeker come together.
Ji.
If you if there's anything you would want the viewers to know before we go, any passing thoughts?
No, just be sincere, honest, conscious, simple, ordinary, loving, celebrating, and unserious. And also, if any of your listeners are feeling a connection with mantra, then I highly encourage them to watch the film because it will definitely broaden their understanding
Yeah.
into perceiving the vast potential of mantra on a daily life application as well as some specific applications which can be related with your health or with your astrological situations and other things.
This is the link for the movie. If you want to click on it, I'll put it also in the description so you guys can watch the movie. I watched it when I went for the retreat. Manish showed it to us. It's a very well researched, and the people that Manish has interviewed and have contributed to this documentary have almost spent their entire life in this search and in this pursuit of what is mantra and how they work on our body and our feelings and other things. So I do recommend. Thank you, Manish. Thank you
Thank you.
for being here.
Thank you. Thank you so
Bye
much.
bye.